Lynn, the para-adaptive coach coordinator for Marlow Rowing Club, and I thought what I would do is just take a minute to introduce how to strap a boat onto a trailer. And we determined this need because over the regatta season we run a number of trailers, and I've noticed a number of challenges. Some people just coming up saying, I'm happy to help put the boats on the trailer, but I don't know how to do the straps. So this video will show you the basics. But also seeing boats that have been strapped, I see two issues. Some is overstrapping and others are understrapping. The understrapping creates a danger because if it's loose, the boat can come loose and cause problems and get damage. And overstrapping is mostly an inconvenience where just too much is done too tightly. It makes it a lot of work for the person on the other end who has to remove the boat. So the very basics, we have a strap here. With a clasp. These are very common. All the boats should be strapped on like this. We have a sample boat here sitting on a rack. And essentially what you do is you think of this as the head of a snake, and it goes over one side of the boat and goes underneath the bar and comes back on top of the side of the boat. So it should sit about there, actually about as high as you can get it, but not on top of the boat, because we don't want the metal thing pushing down. We want it to be on the side. So then you take the other end of the strap and you run it through by squeezing this. It opens up the hole, and you'll see that there are little grips in there. You pull it through, and by pulling it down, you pull it snug. Now this is an important point. That is 90% of the work. These are made not to move, and if you just left it like that, you would be 90% secure. There's a lot of other stuff that goes on, and people think that they're adding to the security. This is the key thing. Now, what is the problem that can happen here? The biggest problem is people don't have the straps together. So they put it on loose, and they do that, and they kind of tighten it. So that's kind of tight. But as you can see, as these come together, now they're loose. So you have to make sure they're nice and parallel, nice and snug, and that's a secure boat. So why is all this stuff wrapped around, and are there other things? It provides basically a bit of extra security in case this rattles and loosens. So what you do is, if you've got a lot of extra, you run it over the boat again, because it just gives a bit of extra security. These straps are not going to break, so it's not that much. Actually, running it over the boat just gets rid of it, so you don't have to wrap it around tons of time. So now I have a reasonable amount, and I don't want this flapping in the wind for the truck, because it'll hit things, it'll fray, so I want to get rid of it. So I'm pulling it nice and snug again, and this is where I wrap as much as I can here. So I'm just getting rid of it, and now I've got just enough to tie it off. Now, I've done this, which is 90%. I've wrapped another cord, which has given extra security, and now this is wrapped multiple times here. This final piece does not need to be done tightly. This final piece is not holding the boat. So when you put it in, I like to run it behind here, and just a gentle kind of see that? It's kind of snug, but not tight. Now, one of the problems I have is people yank this super tight, and when you get on the other end, you have to get like a wrench to pry it loose. It does not need a tight knot here. In fact, generally what you do is you do a double knot. And then that means that's not going anywhere. Remember, that knot is not securing the boat. That knot is just to keep the rope from unraveling. The boat is primarily secured from this main attachment. It gets a bit of extra security from the wrap. Around here keeps it from being any loose at all, and this is just loosely keeping it from unraveling. So that is the basics of how to strap a boat on to a rack.